Broadcasting from the basement bunker beneath Kettle Radio. Welcome to the fourth hour with Greg Belfrage. Hope you had a great weekend. Really nice to have you along this morning. Okay, so Wall Street is taking a bit of, it's off to a rocky start on Wall Street this morning. And I think this is expected. This is because of the tariffs and what's happening. So Wall Street opened sharply lower today, and the S&P 500 on track to confirm bear market. So you can see the numbers that are there, and we'll see how that shapes up as the day goes on. There's more to be told. I want to take you to the President's True Social account this morning because there are some interesting things that the president is doing over there. So he's got some more than 50 countries now have reached out to the president. That's really not anything new. I shared that with you this morning. This was on Newsmax, talking about twice as many jobs as people were predicting. I think this was on Friday also.
They added almost twice as many jobs as people were predicting, but they were quality jobs. Again, compare and contrast Joe Biden's jobs numbers. Most of Joe Biden's jobs that he added were government jobs and part-time jobs. In this jobs report, a lot of these are construction jobs, they're full-time jobs, they're not government jobs. This is the tip of the iceberg. And I think at the end of the day, that's part of the American dream, right? Is to be able to have a job that you can support your family and maybe be able to afford to buy your first house and buy your first pickup truck.
So it's looking good. The president talks about what's going on and trade, and he's responding to a reporter here. Goes off. And I don't know if you can hear the reporter in this cut that the president's using here. Let's roll the cut. Here it is.
I've spoken to many countries. They all want to do, just so you understand the power of what I'm doing. Every country is calling and being very solicitous of us. Very, very nice. They're being very nice. And we have to be able to justify. This is not sustainable. The United States can't lose $1.9 trillion on trade. We can't do that and also spend a lot of money on NATO in order to protect European nations. We cover them with military, then we lose money on trade. The whole thing is crazy. And I got elected on that basis. We explained it. The American people understand it a lot better than the media. But the media understands it. And much of the media...
You hear that? The American people understand it better than the media. I absolutely, that's why I love Trump. I mean, seriously. And he said about an hour ago, countries from all over the world are talking to us. Tough but fair parameters are being set. Spoke to the Japanese prime minister this morning. He is sending a top team to negotiate. They have treated the U.S. very poorly on trade. They don't take our cars, but we take millions of theirs. Likewise, agriculture and many other things. It all has to change, but especially with China. The president is holding absolutely firm. I shared this with you this morning because the president had shared this right around 8 o'clock Central. And he said, and I love this, don't be a panicant. He said, the United States has a chance to do something that should have been done decades ago. Don't be weak. Don't be stupid. Don't be a panicant, a new party based on weak and stupid people. Be strong, courageous, and patient, and greatness will be the result. I absolutely love that comment. Be strong, courageous, and patient. If there's anything I want to make sure you hear today, it was that comment from the president. So that's a look at the president's True Social account this morning. I also, this is a piece over at Town Hall that they had shared, and I've got to share This is great. It's a question the president was asked. The president, is there pain in the market at some point that you're unwilling to tolerate? That was the question.
Pain in the market at some point you're unwilling to tolerate this idea of a Trump put? Is there a threshold?
I think your question is so stupid. I don't want anything to go down, but sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something.
I think your question is so stupid.
Such a horrible, we have been treated so badly by other countries because we had stupid.
See, and then there's the rest of the cut. The president was on his True Social account was more generous. He cut off the beginning here. I think your question is so stupid. That's what I love. It's the way he's just honest with the media. I don't like the question. I think it's stupid, and that's the result that you wind up seeing. There was also a story. Hold on. Let me cut that. Okay. And this is Ford. This is a piece this morning at foxnews.com. Again, an executive at Ford saying that, and this was actually, it was on Friday. And they were on Varney and Company on Friday. And Andrew Frick said, we assemble more U.S. vehicles and we employ, talking about Ford now, we assemble more U.S. vehicles and we employ more U.S. hourly auto workers than any other. And we want to do more, not less, here in the U.S. He said, 80% of what we sell in the U.S. is assembled right here in the United States. And it would be helpful to have certain parts here in the U.S., and the White House gets that. So this was on Friday. And he's talking about how they're standing strong in the midst of this. He said, we already assemble 80% of our vehicles right here in the U.S., including the F-150. So relatively speaking, we're in a good position. We're in a complex industry relying on a lot of different suppliers. That's the key. I think that's the key. A lot of different suppliers, and that's what's going. And a lot of these suppliers not in the United States. That, I think, is the issue. Getting that manufacturing into the United States. At least I suspect that's what's going on. And he said, we need to ensure that we have the right supply chain ecosystem in place here in the U.S. I want you to hear that, because that's what we're talking about, having the right supply chain, and not only building manufacturing in the United States, but having that supply chain in the United States. That's what I believe the president is focused on, is getting all of that manufacturing then into the United States. That's when you begin to have a country that is really self-sufficient. We talked about the protests over the weekend, thousands of protesters railing against Trump's budget reforms, labeling the administration robber barons. Oh, this just is too rich. This was the protest I talked about Saturday. And why are they protesting? I'm protesting how horrible things have become in our country. Do you not want to laugh right there? How horrible things, for who? For whom have things become so terrible? You lost an election. We've all been through it. Lost an election. Man, this is just, what in the world are they talking about, man? I mean, we've been taken over by a bunch of robber barons who are trying to take away all of our rights, benefits, and liberty. What? What's the assault on American liberty? Are you any less free today than you were, 2 months ago? It's just absurd. And out there, And that's what's so incredible. Okay, not only do you feel that way, I want to talk to the media. I want to be heard. I want to have my, I want to have my point of view spread throughout the country. Boy, I'd really want to be sure of what the hell I was saying before, before I'm out there talking to on a national platform. Yeah, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Facebook, national platforms. I tell myself just to make myself feel good. Come on. It's just crazy. I am protesting what is happening with this blessed country, the democracy that was advanced democracy, now in transition to a dictatorship. What in the holy hell are these people talking about, man? What are they talking about? On our way to dictatorship? We're almost in a fascist state right now. Only because the rule of law is bending right now, and it may break. She is from Ukraine. She's lived in the U.S. for almost 30 years. Seriously. And wow. That to me is heartbreaking. You come to the United States and you believe that's where we're at? After, seriously, you believe that's what's going on in the country right now? This just gets, no, I understand being angry. I get this. This one woman from Queens, the Republicans in Congress are enabling Trump to do many, many things. Everything he's doing is wrong, and they know it, and they are enabling it. The Republicans must go. They're causing chaos. Now that is an absolute joke. Coming from a Democrat and the Biden administration, seriously, to now be out there and talking about how Trump is enabling chaos. This is one of the criticisms that we're hearing from Democrats, and they are using against Donald Trump. And I find that absolutely laughable. I would laugh right in your face if you were to suggest that to me. That is the most ridiculous thing I think that I've ever seen. Are you kidding me? You have got to be joking. That's what was going on across the country over the weekend. This is just absolutely wild, man. All right. It's just, I feel a bit like Popeye. Taking all I can stand, and I can't stand no more. Okay, Peter Navarro was talking about the tariffs, and this was in the interview on Sunday Morning Futures yesterday. So I told you on the air this morning how much I respect Peter Navarro. And so he said, okay, let's not forget, every economic report that's been coming out in the last month has been pushing us toward expansion and strength. We just had a blowout jobs number on Friday. And this is what I'm trying to leave with you today. Good news. There is a lot of good news. Don't let the media drag you down. There's a lot of good news out there. Navarro's, and he's giving the receipts here. 228,000 jobs added on Friday. That was 50% higher than was predicted. So again, there's a cognitive dissonance between what the media is saying, wanting to push us into recession, and what's actually happening. Again, bingo, bingo. I want to highlight that. There's a cognitive dissonance between what the media is saying, wanting to push us into recession, and what's actually happening. Absolutely right. And he says, I think you're right. The tariff and trade policy is just one chapter in a book that contains all these other beautiful things that we're going to do. You can see the effect of Trump here, the beautiful things. Everything's beautiful in Trump's world. I love it. Navarro says, if you just take, for example, the oil prices. Oil prices were $1 higher during the Biden years. for a commuting working family, that's about $1,000 worth of gas prices they had to pay. We're going to get that back for them. These tariff revenues, by the way, 600, 700 billion, they're going to raise in a year, 6 to 7 trillion over a 10-year period. They're going to help pay for the tax cuts. I will tell you this, every single dollar that comes in, tariff revenues that we take away from the foreigners who have been cheating us are going to go right to the American public in terms of tax cuts and debt reduction. And he just goes on. So this was a great interview. And the story's from Breitbart, but Peter Navarro, I want to applaud this guy and what they're doing, and he explains it. I think, and there are a number of people who are doing this. I was talking about it on the air this morning. I love folks like Navarro who can take the complex and make it understandable for a guy like me. Because I'm not an economist by any stretch. I'm just a guy on Main Street. Okay. He can take the complex and really make it understandable. And he is, I think, really, really great at that. Okay, I mentioned to you that I've been really curious to get Bill Maher's take on his White House visit. And there is a piece from the New York Post this morning, Maher talking about it. He offered his praise on his Club Random podcast yesterday. And he said, Trump really is one of the most effective politicians. Whatever you think of the policy and him as a person, he said, just as a politician, just understanding that you should always lean in to being who you are. He's saying Trump, this is what he respects about Trump. He said, the people are not savvy about issues, but they smell a phony a mile away. So he has been a critic of Trump's, but after meeting him, he said, he has those moments that no other politician has. And the Democrats have to find that guy. But let's be real. They've been searching for years. They're still coming up empty. Well, that's true. Democrats are lost in the woods, man. He said, talking about Trump threatening the Taliban leader. He said, when he did that thing where the guy came in from the Taliban and he said, this is an aerial picture of your house. If during our withdrawal, one American is hurt, just know I know where you live. And Maher says, I was like, oh man, can we just play the music now? Because I don't care if it's Donald Trump and he's the worst person ever, blah, blah, blah. I effing love that stuff, he says. And this is where I think even Bill Maher understands Donald Trump's strengths. I love that stuff too. When we see Trump engage in that kind of, you go, brother, you go, man, go, 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 go. And that's how I'm feeling this morning. So you had all of these protests over the weekend and, people are all up in arms, and we were just talking about, and it's like, man, what reality, what bizarro world do you live in when that's the way that you're looking at things? I do not want to be that kind of person. I really do not. And look at that. And, it's one thing to be concerned. It's another, you're out. I mean, just what is this about? Worried about we're headed toward dictatorship. And I'm like, man, you need to stop listening to the legacy media. It's the legacy media that's putting that crap in your heads. There's nothing in reality that you can point to and say, yeah, this is it. This is where I lost freedom. Here it is. Here, I can no longer do this. Those things are just not happening. And the left screaming about it is, and others, folks on Main Street who are complaining about that. How do you draw those conclusions? I just find myself kind of blown away. A lot of great news out there. My message to you is let's keep that spirit of optimism. Let's be patient. Let's wait. As the president said, be patient and things are going to come around. I really believe that. We'll see. And if he's wrong, I just don't think so. The guy has been incredible as we have watched. So I'm going to leave it there for today. I want to thank you so much for being here. It's going to be a wrap from the bunker. So as usual, I want to give a shout out to my gallery of champions. If you made it all the way through the video, you're part of my gallery of champions. And we'll leave it there. Hit that like button before you go. I would very much appreciate that. So long until tomorrow. I'm underground and gone.